was great. Loved it. Let's all share some invasion experiences. And these are just some topics. Transitions from water taxi to private boats, sinking boats, 70s, 80s, 90s. Would you like to share any of that? Rose? Possibly a sinking boat, maybe? No? The memories.
I don't remember being on a sinking boat, but I've been on a singing boat.
That's why I'm singing.
If you don't know by now, I'm Rose Levine. But Bobby said to me, you have to come in drag. I said, well, here I am in drag as Bob Levine, because I'm going to a bar mitzvah tonight, and I have to make a boat from here to there, to the mainland. Anyway, I don't remember ever being on a sinking boat. Do you? Oh yeah, was I on a sinking boat? Well, you better tell, you better tell.
It was about the third or fourth year when we had 3 or 4 taxis, and Rose was in, not on my taxi. I guess we weren't speaking that year because I wouldn't let her in my boat. So, she was in her own boat. And all of a sudden we look over and the boat was just kind of flopping to the harbor a little lower. You don't remember this, Rose? Oh, I'll never forget it. And there's Rose trying to get out screaming, help me, God bless America, God bless America, carrying on. And we had to get Rose from one boat to the other. And we in our boat were screaming, push her in, I'll give you $50. But that's all it was, nothing all that exciting. She didn't go in. Well, you know, let me introduce everybody. You know, which I should have done before I forget. Everybody knows the incomparable Bob Levine, Rose Levine. I thought it was very appropriate. The tradition of the homecoming queen continued on every year after that, and our reigning homecoming queen from this year is Yanita Dunes. We thought it would be appropriate. And since we are in the Grove, we figured we better bring a lesbian with us, otherwise we'll be in trouble back at home. So we brought you two dykes in one. And we figured that Susan and Ruth Friedner, the Friedner twins, have been very strong Grovites since the 60s. And certainly a part of the invasion for many, many years. Go ahead. They've never been without words, so.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Hi. So I'm Susan. I'm the younger one. And yes, we are identical twins, although many times there are those people who say, are you a couple? Yeah, right. We've been going together so long we look alike. Okay. As Nancy was talking, it occurred to us to have a little conversation here on the side, trying to figure out exactly when we first went on the invasion. And I know it's not 35 years, but it's at least 30 that we first went. And they would be like the entourage. So whoever the queen was, if they had a particular idea, you know, give a day a theme. So we've gone in tuxedos. That was horrendous. 95 degrees and you're in a tuxedo. We've gone in leather. That's also not too pleasant. We had Queen Timothea. Remember Queen Elizabeth? We were the Boy Scouts who were escorting her. And this year, because it's summer camp theme in Cherry Grove, we're resurrecting the Boy Scouts, except we had to buy new, well, bigger sizes. Okay. Oh, we had the military for your 25th. We ended up with how many women escorting you? Like 14 of us, all in we call it quasi-military. We put as many ribbons as possible on, and he had his escort of 14 girls, women, ladies. Do you know the story about the RGs and the girls? Okay. These are the girls. We're the RGs. The real good. Because when we do shows over in Cherry Grove, they always say, okay girls, on stage, and we look like this. Who's he talking to? So it would be RGs on stage or girls on stage. So we're the RGs, and every once in a while we gather an enormous contingent of us to escort the Queen with some kind of a theme. Trying to remember some other. Do you remember when? Wait a minute.
Well, you know what, guys? Can we come back to
Okay.
you in a little while? I really want to talk about the transition that with Pansy, about the transition from water taxis to private boats to ferries and how that happened.
Well, the first year there were 9 of us, and when the second year came, they didn't have a homecoming queen contest, so I proclaimed myself queen again. So that's why I was queen twice. But when July 4th came, we were sitting around and we said, you know, that was really fun. Should we do it again? And someone said, no, you can't repeat, you know what you do. And then we said, oh, let's do it again. And this time we were 19 people. And then the third year came along, and we did have a queen. Her name was Bluesy Blowhole. And don't ask. And we also had a homecoming king at that time, because we felt it was politically correct. Rusty Trockalockalockaley, whatever her name was. But anyway, I digress. But we went from 9 to 19, and then we went to like 30, and we couldn't fit in the cabs, the water taxis, so we had like 2, and then 3, and then at one point we had 5 water taxis in 1980, which is a story in and of itself, deciding who went in what boat, as Rose knows. And finally it got so big we didn't know what to do, so we got someone from Cherries, or wasn't Cherries at the time, with a private boat in 1981. And we took a private boat for the Queen and her entourage, and with several of the water taxis following us, about 5 or 6. Not only did we have Randy and Sally's, but we had to go to the other water taxis as well. And it just kept growing, and there wasn't any room for us. And finally, we went over to, well, we certainly didn't go to Judy Stein, I promise you that. But we went to the Steins and explained to them what we were doing, and Kenny thought it was just great fun, and finally in 1992 they gave us the Margaret M, where we could fit all 35 of us on the boat. And that's really the transition. It just became an event in and of itself, and more people came year after year after year, until last year was the record of 350. Can you believe that?
We're going to break it this year. Speaking of the weather, how many invasions were rained on?
I only know 2. One was in the late 70s, because I can remember Frankie Piano wore a dress made of feathers. And when he came back, he was drenched. I don't know if you remember that, Rose. It was horrible. The next year that it rained was 1992, I think, when Sylvia Shapiro was homecoming queen. That was the only year that I missed, because my best friend died, and it was the day of his funeral. And Philomena took over for me that day, and that was the only day it rained, and it rained because I wasn't there. But, yes, I'm there tomorrow. What we used to do, the reason why it didn't rain is back in the 80s and the early 90s, we had a rain date. If it rained on July 4th, we would do it the following weekend. So it did happen a few times, and wasn't always on the 4th. We kind of tried to do it the best we can, but so that's really all it rained. We knock on wood.
This was a question I asked, and I was very curious about it. When did you feel it becoming a phenomenon, an event? Because doing it in the beginning, with the fear and all of that, when did you look around and say, oh my God, where are we?
Well, you know, there were a couple of transitions. I'll tell you the first time it really hit me that the invasion was more than just a bunch of party people coming over to party harder was it was during the AIDS conference in Florence, Italy, which I had to go to for my business. I worked for the Community Research Initiative, CRI, and I caught pneumonia when I was over there. So when I came home, I was deathly sick. I didn't even think I was going to make it out to July 4th until someone called me and told me Dominic DeSantis was going to take it over, and I suddenly got very well. But truth be known, prior to that year, I used to do, and the old timers will remember, I used to do flyers and send notes to the newspapers. I'd come over to the Pines every weekend and put up flyers. I used to say, please greet, the visitation of the homecoming queen is coming. On the Grove side, we would put, join us for the invasion of the muscle boys or something like that. But that year, being so sick, I did absolutely nothing. I didn't order the boats. I didn't do anything. And everybody showed up anyway. And I think that's when I really realized that this thing had a life of its own. It really had nothing to do with me anymore. That it was the community that made it live and breathe from both communities. But so that was really when it really hit home.
I guess I realized that it was a big hit when John White finally gave roses to everybody. And that's when he joined the crowd and really welcomed us. Remember that, Pansy? I'll never forget.
Thanks, Rose. The systems of the invasion, boarding, fees, departure, arrival. Yes. We'll start at the end and we're going to work our way down. Do you have a mic over there? We'll start with the twins.
Hello. Hi. Okay, so Pansy decides what the tickets will be. They've changed through the years so that nobody can, get a counterfeit ticket. And the arrangement for the amount of money is always between Sable Ferry now, good old Ken Stein, let's hear it for Ken, and they work that out, and it's very reasonable. And then Phil and his husband Michael and Ruth and I have been doing the arbitrary decision as to who is properly cross-dressed. It's usually not a problem with the men who are trying, at least, to be cross-dressed. If they even make an attempt at a dress of any kind, a boa, a hat, earrings, something fun. It's mostly the women. They're like, no, you're wearing what we wear every day. I'm sorry. Does your friend, that would be the guy in drag you're with, have an eyebrow pencil? Go away, draw a beard, draw a mustache, do something, and then come back. And that, basically, cross-dressing is a must. And it does account for the Imperial Court of New York. We'll give them a credit. They now have their drag tag sale a couple of weeks before, and you cannot believe the people who show up to find something to wear for the invasion. And first-timers, newbies, are our thrill. It's a thrill. We try to help them a lot.
Well, I just wanted to say that I'm thrilled to be here with such celebrities and people of such history, and I feel it's a real honor for me to be here. I did the invasion the first time 6 years ago, and you know, it was just a wonderful experience, a very freeing experience, and I'm just thrilled to be here, thrilled to represent Cherry Grove and the connection between the two communities. So thank you very much.
Well, here's how it works. You had to be in drag in order to get on the boat. I realized that had to change when we had fist fights on the dock. We had a lot of problems in the Grove, and for several years I had to hire security. I mean, you don't even know the things that went on with people that couldn't get on the boat. We wouldn't let them on the boat. They'd get into fist fights. They'd push people around. They'd call the cops. So for several years we had a lot of problems. But then it kind of settled down after a while. So the rule is you must be cross-dressed. Now for the women, quite frankly, you could wear a gown or a mustache. You're more flexible than we are. But we have some exceptions. The Imperial Court Emperor is allowed to come. Mr. Leather and former title holders are allowed to come. And our very first male contingent that was permitted on the boat was the drag repair. You remember the drag repair? I think the founder of drag repair is here somewhere. Where is it? Now, when they came, not in drag, you have to admit they were pretty clever. How can you say no to that? So it kind of extended itself. But anyway, now you go to the Ice Palace, you buy your tickets, you run around the Grove and you get drunk, and you get on the boat and then you come here. It's really rather simple. We've sold the tickets to the boat in all of the bars as much as possible because now we consider the invasion an economic stimulus package for both communities. Because contrary to some of my colleagues in the Grove and other places, I believe that the businesses are what make our community as wonderful as they are. So now that the invasion has become so popular, it invigorates the businesses, and we should encourage people to come to the businesses and support them. So we sell the tickets. We used to sell it up in top of the bay. We did it sometimes at the Monster. Now we do it at the Ice Palace because they have the room. So that's basically how it works.